Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics. In this video, I like to discuss the way jobs are not just being lost as a result of Brexit, but downgraded. Skilled, well-paid jobs are being replaced with poorer paid jobs. And the government will just spin this as jobs created without a word about the quality of them or the net impact on jobs. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news of politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So we are being reminded again that Honda is closing its Swindon car factory down. It's just a few weeks away now. But now that we've seen how the Brexit narrative is going, it's worth pointing out a few parallels here with Brexit in general. See, what's happening is the car factory is closing next month. This means the loss of a number of secure, well-paid jobs. But the site has been bought. Oh, nice one. It's going to be used as a warehouse. This is the Brexit trade for Swindon. It has traded a factory which supplies well-paying jobs for a warehouse where the jobs generated by meagre ways of compensation are going to be on the lower paid end. Frankly, largely minimum wage jobs. Now, this should be a terrible indictment of Brexit because we'll be seeing this everywhere. If there were to be a mature analysis of the actual impacts of Brexit on local communities come the next general election, when it's had a few years, the media ought to be comparing not just the net impact on the number of jobs, but also the average wages with inflation taken into account. But I suspect this will not occur. I can point to the parallels in discussions with trade deals for evidence of this. See, the media are trumpeting all the trade deals which they reckon our government have been signing. However, we've only actually signed two types of trade agreement. One, the main types are carryover deals. These are not new agreements. They are the agreements that the EU negotiated some time ago and other countries just agreed to keep going. It's a photocopied trade agreement. That includes, for example, the agreement we have with Canada, loads of other countries as well. And then the second type, and much less numerous, is a deal on worse terms than we had as EU members. For example, we signed deals with Japan and the EU that means our trading ability is less than it was last year, for example. The government are now boasting of new trade deals with the likes of Norway, Iceland and Liechtenstein as well. Also on worse terms than we had with them last year. Our trading capacity with these countries is lower than it was before. That's all we have. Some deals on the same terms, some deals on worse terms, and then some deals that have just been lost and we haven't actually even got carryovers yet. The net effect is therefore massively down on what we had as EU members. And given that we haven't agreed a single trade deal on better terms, there is zero evidence that we will ever get any deals on better terms, much less an overall net positive impact. Because to get an overall net positive impact, it's not enough to get one or two better trade deals. You have to get, a net number of better trade deals, or to the value of. But the media don't look at nuances like this. They just talk in terms of numbers. A trade deal with Norway, that's all they can say. They don't compare it with what we just gave away half a year ago. It's just numbers. Only it's also fiddle numbers because they don't talk about the deals lost, only those gained. And the same is happening with jobs. The media will doubtless boast about the jobs boost to Swindon once that warehouse sets up. There'll be no mention of the jobs lost to the factory closure, and there certainly won't be talk of the net impact on wages in these towns. And as I keep saying, in situations like this, it's not just the well-paid factory workers that are now going to be expected to either move out of the town, find somewhere else that's still employing these people, or take up a minimum wage job as a warehouse operative. It's a fancy name for a shelf stacker. What happens when hundreds of employees suddenly lose a stuffed pay packet? Whether because of losing their jobs altogether or just having to downgrade, it means less money to spend on goods and services in the local community. So local businesses get less business. Now, some of them may in theory just lose profit, but even that means less spending in the local economy on their part. But on this scale, it is going to mean larger businesses have to drop staff because they don't need as many staff now. They've got less custom and also it's harder to afford their wages. Smaller businesses may go under altogether. Either way, that's more jobs lost, even less money to spend in the local economy. Businesses going under also means lower business rate receipts for the local authorities. So public services are squeezed. You end up with less money being spent, meaning more jobs lost, meaning less money being spent in a terrible vicious circle. The likes of which were last seen on a large scale in the 80s, which have clearly been forgotten about by the people who voted for this. Then there's the other side to it. So when as a country you have fewer jobs that require highly trained staff, you have less need to give your working population higher skills. So you suppress the overall levels of education in the population. All to the good of a populist government, particularly a conservative government that don't want to spend on education anyway. But it also means you are less likely to see innovation generating jobs in the country. It's all a hideous domino effect that gets more hideous with each new domino that keeps crashing down. It's very much like we used to be a world leader in the computing industry, and then in the 80s again, Thatcher's government and said, right, we're going to stop teaching computing, and now we're not one of the world leaders in computing in the world. And the same will happen. You know, if we don't have the jobs for technically skilled people, people won't learn those technical skills. If they don't have those technical skills, you won't have those small number of people that get some brilliant, innovative idea and set up a whole industry in this country. This factory in Swindon is just the start. We know the same thing is happening in other places as well. We've already seen that British-based companies have made their investments outside of the UK now. We've seen businesses being ended completely due to trade barriers. The impact on local communities will arguably be even more devastating than during the darkest days of Thatcher. Only on this occasion, some of the worst affected communities are the ones who actually voted for it. At least in the 80s, the most affected communities had the dignity of knowing that they at least voted against it. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, please also click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.